Hey, what's up? Like, totally time for 90210.
Well, hello, everyone. In the listening audience, we're back.
Did you miss us? You know you missed us. We missed you.
Welcome back to Beverly Hills 90210. My name is Mark. With me, as always, is my girlfriend, Carol. How you doing, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
It is, what is it, February... No, it's March.
No, it's March.
It's March.
March 2nd.
March 2nd, 1995. And we're back. We've had a bit of a... What would you say? An absence? A sabbatical?
Yes. We had some technical issues.
We had some technical issues with... I've been getting fancy with the audio equipment, and we had some technical issues with that. And then Carol and I decided to go on a...
Road trip.
Lover's holiday. Or road trip, I guess.
Lover's holiday.
What do you want to call it?
Road trip?
Oh. Yeah, I guess you did say that.
No suspense there. But it was awesome. It was so fun.
It was fun. We went to Florida.
Yes, we hit the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And, we had to go to Disney because it's Disney.
And you got the sniffles. It sounds like because you keep sniffing in the microphone.
I'm sorry, everybody. Yeah. Coming back to this cold weather, what do you expect?
But we also had time to watch Beverly Hills 90210.
Yes, we did.
This episode was called... I don't know.
I don't know.
We're on the first season still,
right?
Obviously. And this one featured a special guest.
Yeah. It was Matthew Perry from Friends, the guy who plays Chandler.
Yeah, the dude from Friends.
With all the jokes.
The hit show of this season.
But he's the funny one.
On that show, yeah.
Yeah, it was
in
really...
this episode, he's not the
No,
funny one.
he's pretty serious. But it was really cool to see him looking so young and spry.
Yeah, I know. It's weird because it's only 5 years before?
Yeah, he's aged quite a bit.
Yeah. He definitely looks a lot older. Now, maybe they were trying to make him look younger because he was in high school, but
maybe.
He definitely looks a lot older now.
I mean, I think he looks fine now, but in comparison to the way he looked then, it's like he got, ridden hard and put away wet.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Sorry, guys. Anyways, the last episode was the one where the girls did the breast exam, right?
Yeah.
And in that episode, Brenda had to reschedule her SATs to get her test done, and Brandon ended up walking out of his SATs because he was worried about her.
All right.
This episode, everybody, including them, gets their SAT results.
I know, it's weird.
Very weird.
There should be delayed a little bit, you would think.
You would think. That kind of bothered me.
But anyway, that's a very small part of the episode.
I'm sorry. Would you want to just hop right into the big shit?
No, go ahead. This is your rodeo.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
So, Donna doesn't want to tell anybody what she got. She's totally avoiding it, acting like they didn't come, and obvious that she was not happy with her score. And it turns out that she got, what did she get?
A 620.
Yeah. Really, really bad.
Both Brendan and Brandon and
Brendan and Brandon, yes.
And Brenda got 1190.
But didn't they get the opposite, in math and
she did better
verbal?
in math, and he did better in verbal.
Yeah. It was kind of funny, but they ended up with the same score, so, yeah.
Twins.
So Donna gets super depressed. Yeah. And she's just thinks she's an idiot and starts acting out.
In her defense, she does seem like an idiot.
She does, a little bit, yeah. But Brandon is working on the senior spotlight piece for the school paper. And he gets the like golden child, the tennis player. I can't remember his name, but Matthew Perry.
Grant, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Or was that his dad?
I think his dad was maybe was he Robert or was his dad Robert? Somebody was a Robert.
Axelrod or something like that.
I don't know. Rich guy names because they're rich guys.
Yeah. Thurston Howell the Third.
Right. So he gets him to agree to, be the subject of the senior thing. And he come to find out that he is like way less happy with his life than it appears. Like,
oh, that's right, old boy. I'm not as happy as I would seem to be.
I mean, just in the very beginning, he's playing tennis and we find out that he's actually imagining someone's head on the ball when he hits it.
Yeah. He says that's the key.
Right.
He slams the fuck out of it.
And in the course of Brandon interviewing him, he mentions that he wrote a screenplay, which he says everyone in, Los Angeles has, and that no one has read it, including his father, who's working on getting him an agent. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Now, I called this, I'd like to say.
You did.
They also have a collection of guns.
Yes.
Apparently, more than just like, hey, these are guns for self-defense, or we like looking at these guns. Like they've got a Walther PPK, which I believe is the James Bond gun, but apparently it belonged to Dashiell Hammett, the writer.
Yeah, they've got quite the collection, and it's a little intimidating. Like, I get nervous around guns. If I walked in that house, I would not be comfortable.
I guess.
But yeah, they've got all these guns, and Mark immediately says that this kid's gonna kill himself.
Yeah, it's Chekhov's gun. So I was like, that gun's like, they pick up that gun. I'm like, that gun's gonna be used or at least threatened to be used.
Right. And so Brandon wants to read this kid's screenplay, and he agrees. And it turns out as he's reading it, and Brenda actually steals it from him. She's like, "Oh, I want to read it." And so they're reading together. Turns out that the kid has a plan to shoot his father.
Yeah. After having sex with some blonde chick.
Right. There's a lot of sex in this thing, apparently.
Right.
And he's written himself as the main character. It's like obvious that this is him and his dad.
And hasn't changed his name or his car or
Anything.
the house.
Yeah. And I don't know. Brandon's like a little overreacting, I think. I mean, like the whole time I'm thinking it's just a story.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking too, because Brandon's freaked out because he thinks that this dude's going to kill his dad.
I mean, just because you write a story doesn't mean you're actually going to do it.
Exactly.
Like
I've written a lot of stories about killing people.
Yes, he wrote a story about a freaking serial killer that still kind of terrifies me.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you're such a good writer, so that's kind of a compliment. But yeah, it's kind of creepy what your brain can come up with. Mm-hmm. So he's like all freaking out. He's talking to Andrea, calling her on the like rap line or helpline or whatever, asking
the rap line,
right, what to do. And
it's Andrea on the rap line. How are you? What's your suicide attempt today?
And is it her or his dad or somebody says, maybe he just needs a friend.
His dad.
Yeah. So
yeah, his dad says just talk. His dad gives the only good advice in the entire episode,
right,
where he's like, just talk to him. Talk to him and tell him like what you're afraid of and what you're thinking. And then, like you said, he said maybe he just needs a friend.
So that's what Brandon's trying to do, is just, be this dude's friend and hang out with him and stuff. Which seems...
But there's clues all over the place, because he gives him like 2 tickets to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you're going to go with me? And he's like, no, I won't be around.
Yeah.
And then he says, they're driving in his Porsche, in Matthew Perry's Porsche, and Brandon's like, oh, I love this car. And he goes, I'll be sure to leave it to you in my will.
Right.
It's very obvious as it goes on what's going to happen, and Brandon doesn't pick up on any of it.
No. And when Brandon's at his house, the kid's dad gets a letter from, was it Stanford?
Yeah. Well, the kid got the letter from Stanford, but his dad hands it to him.
And he's like looking a little thin, like kind of jerky. Like I wouldn't say that to my kid in front of their friend. Like that'd be embarrassing.
Looks like you got rejected, you fuck.
And he's talking about how, you know, if you just do it my way, you know, I'll have to pull the strings for you, but you want to try it on your own. So, like, basically, this kid has wanted to accomplish something without it just being because his dad's his dad.
And
failed.
He's a failure. But so the background of this is that the dad is a completely self-made person. He started from nothing. He built this company up, and now apparently he owns half of Orange County.
Right.
So you can kind of see where the dad comes from, because they have a couple fights in the course of the episode, and the dad's like, don't, take my show of love or whatever and throw it in my face. And Matthew Perry's like, this isn't about love, because Matthew Perry thinks that his dad basically that his dad just treats him like a thing, like he's another reflection of his dad's success.
Right.
He's not his own person. But from his dad's point of view, it's like, hey, I had to struggle for years to accomplish this or do that, and he wants to save his son years of struggle by, being able to provide for him because he's put himself in a position where he can do that.
Yeah. I mean, it makes total sense. He's not a total jerk, just a little jerk, I guess.
He just doesn't understand that the struggle is part of it, is part of struggling and then, accomplishing your goals or being successful. That's, if it was just handed to you, as Matthew Perry is discovering, then it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
It's not his accomplishments. Like, he's writing this screenplay. If he gets him an agent and he gets it produced and everyone tells him it's great because his dad is this super powerful and rich guy, how does he ever know if he's really talented or not?
Right. Yeah, that would be really hard to deal with.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess with something like a screenplay, I guess eventually it would get to the public and then you'd know.
Right.
But what a kick in the stomach if it wasn't any good.
Right.
And everyone the whole way told you it was great because your dad's this guy, and then the public hates it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely something to be afraid of. So after this incident where like he and his dad are kind of arguing in front of Brandon, Brandon goes out to the car to grab his books and he's going to walk home, and he finds the gun in the car.
And apparently he just puts it back, I guess.
Like, yeah, he didn't take it.
It's so weird.
But I mean, the kid's been shooting since he was 6.
Yeah.
So to me, it kind of makes sense that he'd always be packing if he's like that much of a gun enthusiast.
Yeah, or at least have it nearby, probably.
So, I mean, still, that's not totally suspicious to me. But after that, he doesn't show up to school the next day. So now Brandon's like really worried. And he does a stupid thing.
Right.
Where he goes to their house and knocks on the door and no one answers. Yeah.
It's raining.
And he remembers in the screenplay that the key was under this rock, so he looks
flower pot,
and finds it.
Totally stupid, as I said, by the way, when this scene is going, because the scene in the script, like, it's they film it so you're supposed to think it's real, but it's pretty obvious that it's just Brandon reading the script.
Right.
But Matthew Perry gets this key, unlocks the door, and the first thing I said was, why? It's his house. Why wouldn't he have a key?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. But then he goes into his dad's study or whatever and shoots him. And I guess that's like the climax of the screenplay. But yeah, the only reason that's in there is so that Brandon can later find the key.
Right. So he stupidly lets himself into this dark house late at night with a bunch of gun enthusiasts. Like, he's the one who's trying to die.
By the way, how stupid is it to write in a screenplay exactly where you keep your spare key from your mansion?
Right? Yeah, he's not the brightest bulb. So Brandon can't find anybody, and he's just continues to be worried, but at least he didn't find a dead body.
Right.
And then he finally figures out the next day. I don't remember what makes it click to him.
He doesn't figure it out. I thought the way they film it and the way he reacts, I thought he figured it out, but he still doesn't. He's talking to Andrea, and he can't figure out where this dude is. And then he remembers a line from the screenplay when he's about to bang this blonde chick, where he says, "No phone, no dad, no distractions," and it's like the little pool house.
Yeah.
Right. So Brandon's like, oh my God, cover for me, I gotta go, because you think like, oh, he finally figured it out that he's not gonna kill his dad, that he's gonna kill himself, and he rushes to the pool house where Matthew Perry is. But then he says to him, he's like, look, I know you're angry at him and everything, but you don't have to kill your dad.
Right.
So he still thinks he's going to kill his dad, even though he's hiding in the pool. It's like he should have figured that out.
Yeah.
And Matthew Perry's like, I'm not going to kill my dad, and he's like, I'll still be a failure anyway, even if I did that. Although he would have succeeded at killing his dad. So
yeah.
I mean, and I guess he is kind of a failure here because he goes to kill himself.
That's terrible.
But Brandon's like, no, don't do it, and whatever, what do your friends will think or something, I don't know. And he says, I don't have any friends, and Brandon says, I'm your friend, and he's like, give me the gun. And then it's so weird. I guess it's supposed to be like realistic, but he's like it's a hot stove that he doesn't want to touch his gun. He's like, he keeps like going towards it, and then he's like pulls back, and then he's like, and then finally he grabs the gun away from him.
He's afraid that he's gonna like pull the trigger, and he doesn't want to like knock it and make it go off or whatever. I mean, I get it.
I understand.
I'd be scared too.
It's like when I get really excited sometimes in bed, and you don't even want to knock into it because it might go off.
Wow, that was just wrong. So Brandon, it kind of ends with him visiting the rich dude in the hospital.
Yeah, in the psych ward.
And on the way in, he sees the dad coming out, and the dad says they're both going to get help. So, that's positive. And, I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
No.
Okay. He brings, it's so cute, he brings a little, like, portable TV.
Yeah.
So that they can watch the game together. Because, it's the time when that game that he got tickets for was on.
He gave Dylan and Steve the tickets to the game. And I want to see that scene of Dylan sitting next to Steve watching the Dodgers game.
There was a funny thing, too, in this earlier. Like, rich kid has a nice car. Dylan has a nice car.
Oh, yeah.
And Brandon's in the rich kid's car, and Brenda's in Dylan's car. And they pull up next to each other, and Matthew Perry's character is like, hey, want to see what these cars can do? Mm. And Dylan just looks at me and he's like, no, I already know what mine can do.
All right.
He does not act like a teenage boy ever.
Well, you have to remember that when they filmed this, he was 47 years old. So.
Right. But I mean, the way his character is written, it's just weird. Like I said, I think he has to be an old soul or something. He does not seem like a young man.
I think he's supposed to be like James Dean. I think that's the idea.
Was James Dean like totally chill all the time?
I mean, like in the movies that he was in?
I guess.
Not all the time, because, of course, there's the famous, "You're tearing me apart," but I think, although that is kind of a Dylan thing to do, too, honestly.
That's true. He's not chill all the time.
But the parts that he played, he was like the wise teenager.
Yeah, okay.
From the couple movies that I've seen him in, like Giant and Rebel Without a Cause,
So, Brandon's sitting here watching the game with this guy, and it's like, oh, they're friends, and they're smiling at each other, and we're never going to see him again.
Yeah.
Just like all the girls Brandon dates. No relationships made ever last in the show.
I think Brandon's a serial killer. I think Brandon just gets close to these people, and then off-screen murders them and dumps their body, and then we never see them again.
Right, the backyard's just full of dead bodies. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah. That's why they don't have a dog.
Right? Donna, one final thing on Donna.
Oh, yeah.
It turns out that she has a learning disability. Mm-hmm. And so she's going to get to take the SATs and have them read to her and no time limit.
Yeah. Sometimes I wish that we could watch this like real time and record this while we're actually watching the episode.
Right.
Because, not to toot my own horn, but I thought I had a pretty funny line when she's like, the counselor's explained to her, she's like, well, maybe we can do an oral exam, and we don't have to have a time limit. And Donna said, oh, we can do that? And my response was, of course, you're rich and white.
Right.
Anything you want. But yeah, so that was basically the episode.
Yep, that was the show this week.
So what did you think of it?
I mean, I think it was like a slightly above average episode for them. I enjoyed this one.
Yeah, it was fine.
I liked Matthew Perry.
That was the most interesting thing, and he's a pretty good actor too.
Yeah.
Like when he's given like some serious like meaty role, he was pretty good.
Yeah, he was. I'm interested to see him in more stuff.
Yeah. Well, that is our episode for the week. Carol, why don't you take us home?
So, go ahead and write us and subscribe to like our newsletter thingy and give us like the stars and stuff. Right. And you can write us at latefee1994 at AOL.com.
That's right. All right. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.